the internal contradictions of capitalism, the financialization not only of the economy, but of the electoral process, its distraction from all human interaction, the desire of capitalists to make money by having each of us lost in our little cell phone, lost in our internet box, unconnected to anybody else, so that every human activity is mediated by their system of mass media and mass control. All, all that we're watching is a reaction against that. The candidate who can mobilize that, Mr. Mamdani in this circumstance, yet others we don't know of yet, who will pick up this baton, if any of this comes true, as I see the possibility, and as I know others like me see the possibility, we are going to be in for some big changes. Last point. Even the theater is now becoming disorganized out of its own contradictions. Let's not miss this. The president announces with enormous enthusiasm of the obliteration of the targets in Iran. Within hours, the intelligence chief of the United States says, no, it's not clear that we did it. It's in a mountain. We don't know. But it looks like not much was done. Okay? This is a poorly organized theater. You ought to be able to do better than that. What the hell is going on here? And now the Iranians, as if they almost understand it, began in the first day or two saying very little damage was done, and now yesterday released a statement, great damage was done. Okay, they're beginning to understand too that what is the truth here is utterly irrelevant. It's a theater. Everybody's thinking, what do I need to say about this event that will enhance whatever project I have? That's the only question. What the truth of the matter is of no importance. You know, you can do that for 20 or 30 years. You really can. And then people begin to react to figuring out that's what you're doing. And then it loses. It's like chewing gum. Very good at the beginning, but within 10 minutes, you have no idea what that is in your mouth anymore because it is no longer able to do what it did at the beginning. That's the lesson of every war. Michael made that point a couple of programs ago. The lesson of Vietnam was don't put troops in these countries. A, you're going to lose, and B, you're going to lose because your own people will not tolerate that level of death and destruction. So now you have to have an electronic war. Yeah, but an electronic war can't do what boots on the ground. You know, the contradictions never stop, and they never see them, which is lucky for us because we do.
Yeah.
Well, Richard's given a wonderful description of why so many Americans actually support socialism instead of what we have today. There have been a number of opinion polls of Americans and saying, how do you react to the word socialism? And how do you react to capitalism? Most voters prefer socialism to capitalism as a word and presumably as a policy. When Richard says there are going to be big changes as a result of this, the change is going to be how this preference of voters against the pro-Wall Street finance capitalist policies that we have are ever going to express themselves politically in what's become, as Richard said, a financialized electoral system. There's nothing I can add to what he said about socialism, but I want to make one comment about how Netanyahu's attack on progressive American Jews is splitting them. Netanyahu has said that the greatest enemies of Israel are the progressive American Jews who are not supporting Israel's attack on Gaza. He said that anyone who does not support Israel against the Palestinians is an anti-Semite. Well, New York City has the largest Jewish population in the world outside of Tel Aviv. So you're having here an expression of how the extent to which this Zionism has itself become anti-Semitic. I won't say anti-Semitic, but against Judaism. Netanyahu and Israel's reading of the covenant of the Lord backing Israel is a radical misleading of the Jewish Bible. And when over the weekend, Senator Ted Cruz said he's supporting Israel and wants to be Israel's strongest supporter in Congress because the Bible tells him that God supports Israel, and you have to support Israel if you support God. It's all but saying that the secular Jews, the assimilationist Jews, the Jews who are not pro-war, are atheists. But this compact of the, I want to say something about the compact of the Lord with Israel, because it's I've written a number of books on this with the leading Hebraist in Israel, Baruch Levine, and by one of the leading Israeli Zionist professors from Yale. They're part of my group, my Harvard group on the history of the economics from the Near East to ancient Israel. And most of the Bible is about a class war that occurred within the Jewish community. Most of the Bible is about what the Jewish prophets accused the Judaic ruling class of abandoning social justice and letting its economy polarize between the rich and the poor. You have Isaiah, Amos, and the other prophets denouncing them for monopolizing the land and putting house to house and plot to plot together until there's no room for the population in the land. This led to Israel and the 10 tribes of Israel withdrawing from the house of David, saying, what has it done for us? There's been an oppressive class, and while all the covenant with the Lord in the Bible was all about the Lord will support the Israelis as long as their religion is one of social justice and even treating the alien decently. That's not how it worked out with the wealthy classes essentially enslaving and appropriating the land of the poor. So you had the prophets, Isaiah and others, saying, first of all, the Lord was displeased with Israel, Judaism, and let it be conquered by Assyria as punishment for its violating the compact with the Lord to promote social justice and free the population. And once again, after the war, the Jewish ruling class continued to polarize the economy. And so Isaiah said, we've lost to Babylonia because the Lord is not supporting us. If we don't support the poor, if we don't support the covenant as spelled out in the book of Leviticus, especially chapter 25, the Jubilee year, if we don't cancel the debts and return the land to the population and liberate the dead bondservants, we're going to be defeated again and again because the Lord will not support us if we do that. Well, today, Israel is one of the most economically unequal economies in the world. There's a very wealthy ruling class there, but most of the Israelis are not so wealthy. And it's very hard to find social justice or mutual aid or protection and tolerance of aliens, as the indigenous Palestinians are called. Very hard to find that. And you could say that if the Bible says anything, it says that Israel will be punished for its behavior against this. This is the exact opposite of what Netanyahu says. So the fact is that the Zionists and the Likud party have a travesty of what the Bible is all about, a travesty about Judaism is all about, and also a travesty about how Jesus emerged from this class war within Judea and gave his first speech before the synagogue, unrolling the tablet of Isaiah and announcing that his mission was to restore the Jubilee year and lead to a debt cancellation. And we now know there was a very large movement in Israel, not only Jesus's followers, but it was a majority of the popular movement against it. It was defeated by the Jewish rabbinical class, led by the rabbis. You had the same kind of class war that ended up with Jesus's Sermon on the Mount and the Lord's Prayer, forgive them their debts as we forgive our debtors. So all of this, the majority of American Jews have played such an important role intellectually and politically and financially because they believed in universal equality. They believed in, they were fighting against any kind of ethnicity and total war, obviously because they had been the victims of all of this. So of course they were against any kind of racism or economic inequality, because that was why they'd immigrated to America to begin with. And so just as so many Protestants from France and England, the Huguenots and others had come here. So this attempt to characterize any socialist, any advocate of social justice and of world peace as being anti-Semitic should be exposed as a travesty that it is.